Why need socks, you might ask? Because they are prettier and you can use materials that you choose that they're nicer and they are comfier. They don't have this pressure points that you get on the foot because they don't have lycra in them. Let's work the heel on a sock. So if we look at the sock in here, when we open it up this way, it's made of two parts. This that comes from the back, and this trapezoid. And then it's the same thing on the other side that comes from the front of the sock. So that means that we need to work shorter and shorter rows until we get to the top, working from this side, and then from the other side we need to make longer and longer rows until we get to the end. So let me show you on a paper how that looks like. So here is our heel. So we have all the heels, all the sock stitches, round and round. We divide them in half and we put 2 stitch markers at the end. And then we take the back of the sock and we divide it in thirds. The middle part is this part right here. And here are the ends. So there are 2 steps in here. One is when we work from the outside. So we start from here and we work back and forth, and until we get to the center. Then we create in the process those short row double stitches that need to be resolved. I will show you when we need them. And then we move on to the working from the inside. So now we are on the other side when we make the rows longer and longer. Now we start working from the inside, 1 stitch at a time, until we get to the end. And that's the end of the sock. So let's just work it. So for my sock here, I have 44 stitches round and round for the whole circumference. And since I'm working on the double pointed needles, the ends in here mark my half. So I don't need to put a stitch marker in here because you'll fall off. So now I just need to take this middle part, which represents my back stitches, and divide it in thirds. Since my half of 44 stitches is 22 and is not divisible by 3, I just put 7 here, and 8 in the middle. So if I have an extra 1, I'll add it in the middle. If I have an extra 2, I add it on the sides. Okay, so now I start knitting in stockinette until I get to the end of the back stitches. So this will be knits. So now I'm off of the first needle, moving on to the second. Just knits. Past the stitch marker. And when I get to the end, I am going to turn, but by turning, if I would just turn, and don't do anything, it would be a little hole in there. So I need to make a double stitch or a German short row. Okay, so this is the last stitch. And now I turn my work and work basically from the inside of the sock. So to create a double stitch, you just slip the stitch purlwise and just tug on the yarn a little bit until it creates this double stitch. And now I'm just going to purl across until I get to the other side. And then I will turn again. And every time I turn, I will have more and more double stitches at the end. If you don't know how to work with the double pointed needles, you have one needle that you pick from the other ones. When you get to the end of it, you just move on to the next one. And keep purling. And we are only working on the back of the stitches. The front stitches are left on hold to create the heel. So I am at the last two stitches. Keep purling. Last one, and now I turn again. Now this time I am on the front side, and to do the double stitch on this side looks a little more weird, but it's not. So now my yarn is at the back. I slip the stitch knitwise, and then to create a double stitch I come from the underneath and tug on the yarn to make the double stitch. And that's all. Now I knit across. And every time I go, next time I will stop before this double stitch. I leave it alone and I make my next one just in front of it. And then after all the stitches have been worked, I will come and resolve those double stitches. So now again I'm at 2 stitches remaining before the double stitch right here. I just knit those. And then I turn. Again, I'm on the purl side. So now I do my double stitch. So I slip with the yarn in front. And then tug on the yarn. Just pull it to the back. And it creates the double stitch right there. Then bring the yarn back onto the front. And keep purling across. Now I am at the 1 stitch remaining before the double stitch. I will purl that and turn. Now again I am on the front side, yarn in the back, and I do my double stitch. So slip knitwise, come from underneath, so I can get this double stitch working. And there it is. And now knit across. So I keep doing this, and as you can tell, the rows are getting shorter and shorter because I stop at the double stitch until I reach my pink marker. So here are all my double stitches worked, and I have only one left. So now I have to turn because I reached the marker. And I'm going to slip the last one. Now I got to the other side, and this is my last stitch. I reach the marker, so now I turn and I am on the front side of the sock. I still have to do my double stitch here because I turned. Now I am knitting across, and I am basically done with the first trapezoid. And now we are going to work the stitches from the back and the front of the sock. Just a complete turn. And when I get to those double stitches, I will knit them through the back loop. I'm still keeping the markers. So when I get here to the double stitch, I just insert into both of them and knit them through the back loop. All of them. So I completed them on this side. Now I'll go to the front of the sock around, and when I come to the other side in here, I will resolve those. Now I am finishing working through the front of the sock. Last few stitches. And now I get again to the double stitch ones. Soon you will see the magic happen when the sock heel turns 3D. This is my favorite part. Now I just knit those through the back loop. Now I resolve those stitches from the other side as well, but I still knit on the other side and towards the front, so I can come back here, which is my starting position of the heel, to start doing the step 2, when we need to start working from the inside out. Okay, so now I am in the starting position again right here. at the right side of the heel. And now I am going to knit to the second marker. And then I am going to knit one stitch over and then turn, and then one more stitch over and then turn until I go towards the outside. So now my rows are going to get bigger and bigger, starting from here, going out. So you're gonna create the trapezoid this way. So I am reaching the second marker. I have one more stitch, past marker, and knit one more stitch and turn. And we are doing the same thing. Slip the stitch, do the double stitch. I'm not going to need the marker any longer now because I am going to have my double stitch as the indication where I am. And purl across. Now I am getting to the second marker. Purl the last stitch. Through the marker, make another stitch and turn. Same thing, double stitch. And now the only difference is that at this time I resolve the double stitches as I go along. So when I keep knitting, and when I reach the double stitch this time, because my rows are getting longer, I am going to do the double stitched loop and knit one more. I'll just show you when I get there, which I'm right here. So I see the double stitch, I resolve it, which means knitting it to the back loop, so I close that gap and it's just like one nice stitch again. Knit one more and turn. Same thing, purl, double stitch, and I keep doing that until I get to do all the stitches on this side. Just getting longer and longer. To resolve the double stitch on the purlwise, I just purl it. Purl one more and turn. Now you can actually see the little heel getting formed. Now the heel is almost done. I like how it creates this lining here. Almost looks like it's store-bought. So I made here my double stitch. I keep going across, and this would be my last one. And then I just keep knitting across the front and the heel would be done. Now the heel is all done. And what I have in here is just a normal cavity. And now I would just knit across and do the foot part. But that's how you work the heel.